All right. Well, welcome to the Viking Press Pass. I am Matthew Nickel, and joining me today is our senior defensive end and captain, Nick Hogan. So, Nick, thanks for joining me here on a night after practice.
Hey, thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Absolutely, man. Well, yesterday I spoke with Braden, Smith on the offensive side. So, this is kind of a great, segue. Let's go to the defensive side of the ball and talk, just a little bit about the Simpson game. Man, it was a close one. I know you and I were texting a little bit after the game. Um, what was just kind of the sentiment, from the on the defensive side of the ball and just some takeaways, that the team had.
Yeah, it was a wild game, that was for sure. I mean, we came up first quarter for 14-3, so we really felt kind of confident. But some things happened: interception, kick return. But I mean, overall, we just tried to stay on them, just keep the gas on, and then they kind of just those little things they were able to climb back in. And then going into halftime, we were just like, "Whoa, like what happened?" We tried to get dialed in, just try to keep the boys fired up. We figured at that point we'd seen everything that their offense can throw at us and what they usually do. So we just kind of just made some checks, just made some adjustments, and then just went out there and we're like, we just got to get on top of them, just full go. But I think it was came out second half a little bit better. Towards the end, though, I mean, Jimmy McCoo, that transfer quarterback, I mean, he really showed his clutchness in that end. He kind of really led the guys. And Jacob Garbett, the freshman kicker, for making that final, I can't remember if it was a field goal or extra point, but to tie it up and really send us into overtime, that was huge. And I mean, as a freshman, I can't imagine that pressure. You know,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
guy hitting you, he gets hurt, and then you got to go in not thinking you're really going to play at all. Because I mean, how much do you think kickers get hurt? But yeah, uh, that's pretty much it, though. Going in that overtime, just figured coaching wise, just plugging gaps. And we didn't really want to send pressure because we didn't want to have an open guy, but we wanted to get some natural pressure at the D line without letting the quarterback go through any gaps. But yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, man. It was. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the game. Yeah, so Jacob Garbett, 2 seconds left, 36-yard field goal. I mean, that was a 2 minute and 46-yard drive, 15 plays, 53 yards, and then just to nail a 36-yarder. As right there, as the time expired is awesome for one. Now, I will say it was an interesting game of kickers, though. I mean, they had Simpson had a kicker. I mean, nailed two 49 yarders. When I saw him line up for it, I'm like, all right, well, let's see how close he gets. Not
Yeah.
one, but two. So it was cool to see kind of all phases, right, of the game kind of come together, and it was a little too crazy, I think, for my blood pressure. I was down here actually watching it in the basement, and kind of had to get away because I was just it's the same thing, man. I mean, I'll be 43 years old in a couple of weeks, and it's like I still get like nervous going into game days. I'm not even playing, but I'm just like
Yeah.
nervous for you guys. I'm like excited. Kind of all the things still come back from, gosh, when I was a freshman in 2001, like all the same nerves, doesn't matter. So, um, but let's talk about like that overtime. That was huge. And Zach Gray coming up with knocking that thing down. And, I shared that, with my boys, and we were talking. I was like, that's the best thing you can do as a lineman is if you can't get into the backfield and get to the quarterback, get your hands up and knock the ball down. And like, that was just a perfect example of that. So, you know, how'd that feel kind of walking away, and how did you guys celebrate and kind of rally around Zach?
Oh man, it was great. I mean, once I look out, I see the quarterback throw it, and I'm like, oh no, and I see it get tipped and go to the ground, and everybody just running on the field. But I mean, I gave Zach a pat on the butt, man. I was like, hell yeah, dude. I mean, way to get your hand up there. It's definitely something we teach, but just right down to the wire. Absolutely.
It absolutely was. It absolutely was. Well, unfortunately, right on the other side of things, right, it was a um, as a game of injuries, and a number of guys, certainly, walked away with, with some bigger injuries. Some guys that are, will hopefully we'll get back here in the next week or two. Um, but it really kind of allowed a couple of other folks to really step up. I know, Dino Hunt, he had a really good game, stepping in. He had 9 tackles. Peter Stapleton came in, he had 5 tackles. Um, who are some folks kind of just generally speaking, can we maybe anticipate seeing in the secondary or on the defense now that, going to start to get maybe some more playing time because of, whether it's bumps or bruises or some of the injuries?
Yeah, I mean it's really unfortunate, but I mean you got to kind of be professional about it. It's next guy up, and Peter and Dino have had a lot of experience in the past. Maybe not starting, but they've had some experience a couple of years ago, or not a couple, but last year. But D tackle wise, we also I don't know what the exact situation is on TJ Klein, but I don't know how for sure he is coming into Wheaton, but there's a couple younger guys trying to probably going to step up, have to fill that role because I mean D tackle you got to have it, you got to be able to own the trenches. So
Yeah. Yeah. And I know there was a lot of, anticipation for him to kind of fill that spot. And I mean, like anything, right? I mean, it's, folks are going into the junior and senior year, they're getting kind of the starting nod. I mean, especially with like Hugh Keeney, having graduated. Um, it's again, it's all about reloading kind of year after year. But man, week one is really about can you get out of it, kind of unscathed, and certainly weren't as lucky this year. But you had 3 tackles, you had half a sack. Um, I still want to give. I was looking at some of the stats here. I was like, Zach had 4 tackles, had a tackle for loss. Um, I'm like, what? He should get a pass breakup for that, man. Like, he should get something for that. Like, come on, come on. I didn't see it on the stat sheet.
yeah,
But
you got to give him some credit for that. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. How'd you feel like, you played, right? I mean, last year, you haven't, gotten, a ton of reps, right? Because you always had, some issues, a little bit with your knees and stuff, and just, trying to get back into the swing of things. How did you feel on Saturday?
Oh yeah, I mean definitely coming back from that knee injury from both my knees, that was kind of rough, but just trying to prove myself. I wasn't super pleased, I guess I'd say. You always want to do better. The senior, the captain, you always want to lead everybody from the front. Just be kind of owning everything. But I think there's definitely a couple things I need to work on. But it was an okay start. It was decent, personally. But as a team, that's not the type of game you want to get into is a close game like that. But I'm glad we were able to hold out and go over to overtime and just win. I mean, mentality wise, that was great. Everyone was still fired up, just ready to go. So.
I always think about like key moments in the season and like what are defining moments in the season. And when I go back a couple of years to that Isthmus Bowl run, a key moment was the overtime win against Carroll here at home when Johnny Breeden came across the back and knocked that ball out of bounds, and we ended up winning. And it was just such a defining moment, I think, along with like beating Wash U. I go back to this one, and even though it's a non-conference game, I think it's such a defining moment for this group starting off to be in the trenches, show some true grit. And you don't, that's not exactly where you want to be. However, you also learn a lot about yourself and a lot about the team, when things come down there, and, you know,
Totally.
all the things need to happen. And, if everyone does exactly what they're supposed to do, right, just one thing needs to go right. So everyone was doing what they needed to do, and great. The one thing that needed to happen was Zach needed to knock the ball down or tip it, and that's what happened. Um, so I think it's just such a defining moment for this team this year. It's like it's a springboard. I think regardless going into bye week is how I continue to look at it. But other than that, I mean. as I think about like you coming back, what did you do in the off season, to make sure you're kind of coming in and feeling your best? Like, what did the off season look like for you?
The off season was rough. I think the fifth game was my last one. I think that was against Elmhurst or North Park last season, but that was it. My knees just they I tore ligaments on both sides of my knees, and they just swelled up pretty much to where it was like a cast, and I couldn't move my legs at that point, so I had to get surgery. And then right after that surgery, just got to work, just PT as soon as I can, working out as much as I can, doing whatever it takes. Uh, Even having to get my knees drained a couple times, which that's interesting. It's kind of a painful experience, but you got to do
I've
what you
had
got to
it
do,
done.
and then
Yep.
yeah, it's
It's not the
it's a
greatest.
needle about that big.
Yeah.
But going into that winter, just grinding absolutely, along with classes and everything else and working, but just grinding and then just trying to be a motivator for all the guys. And then by the time we got to spring, I was like, I want to see break off the rust, see what I got, see if I can still move with post surgery and everything. So it was huge, but I just had to make that climb back.
What do you feel like you learned about yourself during that process?
I learned how much I really cared about football because not being able to play those last 5 games with your guys, you really feel like you're kind of letting them down, letting the family down. I know you spend this long, you're really bought in. You kind of just you feel sad that you can't help the team. But it was definitely a internal search I had to go through just to kind of get there because I mean it's not fun. You kind of get down on yourself, but you can't sit there or else nothing will get done. So
Yeah, I mean, you ride that wave, right, of emotions. It's like upset, disappointed, angry, sad, mad, happy, um, motivated, right? It's really about, how you can find other ways to motivate yourself, and it's just to go and do that next workout. And sometimes, man, those workouts they're brutal, they're painful. And you're doing them with a lot of doubt. I remember when I tore my ACL and I was, going through it. And this was after I graduated, but you start to doubt yourself so much. Like, am I going to be able to do what I did before? Am I really going to trust my knee? Am I really going to trust, to do this or do that? And, you just kind of trust the process and eventually just kind of let it go. And what happens is going to happen. So, it's kind of like you put all the work in and let's just go do this thing. So, yeah,
yeah,
so it was good to see. It was good to see you and a number of other guys like like even like Max Castle, right, was another one. It was good to even just see him, at the Laura scrimmage. Because heck, the last time I saw and talked to him in person is he had he was either just going in to have his back surgery or just came out of it, one of the two. So, but
and that's huge.
it's
So I
tough.
mean, we talked with him a couple times, and just like guy to guy, I mean, we're just like, hey, like, are you coming back? Because I mean, that's a huge thing. I mean, you're back. I mean, that messes up once. I mean, you could have some like uh, serious injuries, that affect you throughout
Hmm.
your life. And so, I mean, he came back. He worked hard, worked his butt off, man. I've never been prouder of somebody.
Absolutely. Um, so let's talk to you. Let's talk a little bit about being a captain specifically. You know, um, how would you just kind of generally describe yourself as a leader, like in your leadership style?
Yeah. When I'm pretty sure we picked captains end of the spring practices, but it was kind of a surprise. I mean, I didn't really. It wasn't something I was really kind of climbing towards, or like, oh, I want to be the captain. But I'd say my overall leadership style is just kind of being a general motivator and trying to bring the energy, whether we're at practice or lift. Trying to lift guys up. Get them hyped. But I'm not a big speech guy, but I will say things when they need to be said or when I feel like they need to be said. I kind of just try to be a teacher, especially the young guys coming in. I mean, I know the system because I've been here the past 4 years, so I feel like I could do that, show them what it's about, why we do it, especially to try to get them bought in, you know.
Mhm.
But I also just kind of police, try to be get everybody focused on ATD or attention to detail. And it's just about the little things, doing everything right. You know, I mean, cleaning up, having your jersey tucked in at practice, just small stuff like that. You know,
Try and be professional, right? At the end of the
yeah.
day,
Oh, yeah.
you know, all the little
And
things. Like I
of course,
always go ahead.
oh, sorry, no, I was just gonna say, but of course, like, it's the little things, and some people will complain. They'll be like, "Why are we doing this? Why are we doing that?" But it's the big picture. You know, you get the little things right, then you can do the big things. You know.
Absolutely. I mean, it's I talk about this at work all the time. Whether it's my team or other teams, but it's like be great at the core things of what you do within your role. And even when I'm coaching my third and fourth grade team, like, yes, I know we're going to do this 40 or 50 times. Yes, I know each practice we're going to spend 25, 30 minutes going over proper fit tackle technique, whether it's your hawk tackle, your gator tackle, shuck and go to the tackle wheel. And, I know sometimes it's like, why are we doing this and why are we stopping? And I'm like showing you how to like get separation, and kind of and pop the pad before you, rip off and go. And it's about getting separation, getting your feet set. And I know you're just like, oh God, but it is, it's about like, let's get the basics, just, do them so well. It's hard to get it wrong. And,
Yeah.
I always tell folks in my company, like, that I work for, it's like, I don't care. Find one thing you want to be great at. And if it means that day in, day out, you're going to be the team that always turns the light off at the end of the day, like just rally around something and go be the best at it. So I love when I kind of hear you talk about like the details of things. It's, all that stuff really does matter because the more you focus on it, right? It's like you're so prepared come game day, and everything now just becomes second nature, where it's just you just kind of rip and respond and go do your assignment, and you have a lot
Oh
of
yeah,
trust for that
totally.
person next to you.
Oh yeah,
So
of course. And then the coaches know that they can trust you, put you in the game. You know, when it comes to those tough times like that final stand, you know, you want to have your best guys, the ones you can trust the most.
absolutely. um well, I was talking a little bit about kind of being at Augie. I was looking over the past few days, and you're a finance and accounting major. So how did you kind of land on that as a track for you?
Yeah, I started out. I want to be. I came in as a freshman. I was kind of focused on being a nurse, probably, or something like that. So doing 4 years here, and then going to another school, do another year or two. But I had my first chem class that didn't go so well, and then I realized that you have to do
Why is it
organic
always
chem
the
on
chem
top of it.
class? It's like like, oh yeah, this isn't gonna work.
Yeah, I don't know if it was the teacher or if it was just the material, but it wasn't for me. I figured that out, and then a lot of guys on the football team are finance or accounting guys, so I was like, hey, I might be good at that. So I took my first accounting class, and I was like, yeah, I can do that. I really like it. I really like the numbers. It's something I could see myself doing for sure.
Well, this I know this past summer you were interning at O'Shea Builders. I watched your the video interview they dropped yesterday, which I thought it was good. And now I need to know though, because they said, one of the things I think you were asked to answer was, what was one of your most favorite things? You said that you mentioned the outrageous games, and
Oh,
get bucked from the bull. Like what? So all right, I got to know about the outrageous games. What was it?
so the I interned, yeah, at O'Shea, and every year or so during the end of the summer they try to do the outrageous games, which is just kind of like a just kind of a celebration, like a day from work, and they just try to have a good time with their team and everything. And we do like obstacle courses. You get in groups, and then you do these obstacle courses, and then these challenges, and you get points along the way. and there's a prize obviously for first. But one of the challenges was a mechanical bull, and they had that thing turned all the way up, and they were just winging people from side to side, and it was probably the funniest thing to see.
Yeah. Now, so did you have to get up on the bull then, or did you have someone from your group that did it?
Oh no, I took that one for myself. I went up there. I think I got 24 seconds to give or take. So I think
Okay.
that was pretty good.
All right. All right. Yeah. When I heard get bucked from the bull, I was like, okay, there's got to be a mechanical bull in here somewhere. So that's pretty cool. So yeah. So what did you do at O'Shea Builders? Like, what was your internship like?
It was a lot of processing invoices, mainly from vendors, just like materials or like tools and stuff, because they're a construction company. But I got a chance to work with the CFO and the treasurer on a couple projects, just doing some base stuff like some scoreboards or like a bank reconciliation. But I had a great time. I learned a lot, made a lot of great relationships with some people, and yeah, definitely gonna look forward to that when I graduate. Kind of see if they need some help there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, are you going to go get your CPA then, or study for it afterwards, or what's your plan there?
Yeah, that was pretty much my plan. As soon as I get done with that winter, kind of look at it, really see what I need to do, because they just passed a law that we don't have to do an extra year or so to get 150 credits. It's just another year of experience for working, so that'll be nice. That's really good for me. So yeah, I'll probably start studying for the CPA as soon as school gets over.
That's actually nice because I know there's been a few folks I've talked to that have been finance majors that have had to come back for another fall. Since they had enough credits and um, so is that just a Illinois state law then?
I think that is, yeah, just in Illinois.
Okay. Well, nice. So no, so are you going to try and go back to O'Shea then on a full time basis, or what is kind of stuff after college look like for you?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely want to get my CPA. That's first. I'm pretty sure a lot of states are starting to come to that now, where they're going back down to 120 instead of 150. But probably gonna go back home because that's where O'Shea is, and see if they need my help. If not, probably try to work somewhere else. But I think long term, kind of looking outside Illinois, mostly towards the west and the south, around Texas or Colorado, give or take. That's kind of somewhere where I hope to end up.
All right, why like Colorado or Texas?
I grew up in like southern central Illinois, real small town, real small pond. Coming up here was nice. I got to learn a lot about the world, about the people, and get to just experience that. But I think I've always wanted to have my own place with 100 acres or so, and just quiet, be out in the middle of nowhere.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, gosh, you want to buy a bunch of acreage in the middle of nowhere, you could probably get down in like New Mexico. I know that's you can get quite a bit down there. Now trying to get 100 acres in Colorado, well, you better have $20 million. So those are the places me and my son look at. We just dream like, oh, it'd be nice to have that, out in Colorado or out somewhere out in Montana. We're just still trying to find like 5 acres here in eastern Iowa. So I like it. I like it. Now, what advice? You're a senior. You've had a ton of life experience. It's kind of your last hurrah here. What advice would you give to underclassmen or even in particular freshmen on the team?
Um, it's a good question. I think I would just work as hard as I can, talk to the coaches as much as you can, try to have meetings, figure out, let them know how bought in you are, and just try to see what you can do. Learn from everybody, take everything in, obviously with a grain of salt, but yeah, that's pretty much it. That was a good question.
What's been, maybe your favorite memory so far during your career at Augie?
Uh, Damn. Other than probably joke night, probably just winning huge games like Wash U and Carroll with the guys, and just getting to celebrate afterwards, and just get closer as a brotherhood. As we, I mean, we always try to say we're like a family, but everybody tries to say that, but I think we really do focus on that. We harp on it. It's outside of football; it's in everything too. So
Yeah, it really is. You mentioned the Wash U win. I don't know. I don't know if I ever hugged any more. A higher number of dads. After the game than up there because I traveled down and watched that one, and we were up on the kind of the back flat top area in the stadium, and oh my lord, that was a ton of fun. That was a big one. You just kind of took me back to a quick memory. Um, now. Um, it's funny. I was looking at some of your stuff from Huddle and when you're in high school and you played both, D end and tight end. Like, let's say, hypothetically, you were going into a Hall of Fame. Would you rather go into a Hall of Fame as like a just a nasty D end or just a prolific pass catching like tight end? Because I tell you what, you high pointed some good balls there on some seam routes coming off the tight end. It looked pretty natural, man. It looked pretty natural.
I appreciate it, but yeah, I mean, I in high school I liked tight end a little bit more. You weren't. I wasn't having to block 300-pound guys or like go against them every day. So be able to run some routes that was nice. But I think probably a nasty DN. The kind of aura from that. I mean, everyone knows you, or you going into another game or something. They'd be like, "Fuck, I gotta play this guy." I'd like to have that.
Yeah, the game planning for you, right? Game planning for you. Absolutely, man. It's funny. I remember my freshman year, when I got recruited to Augie, I wasn't quite sure. Like I was a tight end, but I was an undersized tight end, but I was really more of a route runner than anything. I was only like, gosh, maybe 186, 194 pounds, something like that. And then I played kind of outside linebacker, middle linebacker. Again, kind of undersized. But when I went to Augie, I was like, well, all right, am I going to go play tight end or am I going to go play like secondary? And I remember I lined up and I was going against Mike Brazil. And again, Mike Brazil, what did he squat? I mean, I remember he was like repping out 350 plus, like it was nothing. And I went, across from him and I'm like, I'm gonna rethink what I'm gonna do here. So I went and played secondary, went and played corner. Um, so yeah, I can definitely see where like the perspective, man, it changes like right away. So I love that. Well, hey, what's something maybe about yourself? I just got a couple of questions left, but what's maybe something about yourself that maybe many people don't know about you, like talents, interests, hobbies. I threw something out on the tailgate page, and I got a really good response from parents. But what's maybe something about yourself that people may not know is a hidden talent or interest or hobby?
I'm not very talented, so I don't know about that. But I guess something just about me is I'm deeply into my faith. I'm a Christian, and so that's something I always try to work on every day, getting better towards. And we have a group with the football guys. We meet a couple times a week, and we just try to get closer to God and try to do that. But also, I'm a big reader. I feel like not a lot of people know that. I always try to read whenever I got time, and I was reading one time in the lounge, and some guy was like, one of the guys who's like, no way, are you reading? Do you have to do that for a class? And I was like, no, I just like it, man. And he like kind of gave me some shit for it.
What do you enjoy reading?
Just kind of anything, a lot of psychology, but right now I'm reading Atomic Habits, so that's pretty nice.
Okay, all right. Yeah, there's little things. It's funny, you'll find like little niches of things that you like, and especially as you kind of get into your career, you'll find little things like for some reason when I travel, I love to read the Harvard Business Review, or if I'm just sitting down, 'cause it's like on a plane when I'm traveling, I'm away from home, so I'm not coaching wrestling or football, or not centered around my kids and my wife and my family. It's like I had some time I got to fill it in. It's like you do get a really good sense in kind of fulfillment and satisfaction to read. But I tell you what, man, though, it seems for me, this is my personal opinion, it gets so much harder to sit down and just kind of enjoy something because you're so preoccupied with all the things that you got to do. So I like that. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I
Um,
totally get that too. You gotta try to find time, and you gotta kind of pick up where you left off if you're reading. And you're like, man, where was I? You have to get back into it, and then by then, you're off doing something else, like a meeting or practice or class. So,
yep, 100%. Um, Now, I also hear there's a backyard bar at Casa de Hogan there in Rock Island. How's that been? I mean, I saw some pictures of it being set up. It was brought in, via back of, I'm assuming maybe like your dad's truck or something like that.
oh
Um,
yeah,
how are the festivities so far on campus? Is it doing what it needs to do and working well?
oh no, it's good. Right now, it hasn't gotten much action. We have a couple rules during the season. You can't drink during the week, so it hasn't gotten a lot of use. But I feel like after the season, it's going to get used pretty frequently.
That's
But
no,
it's
that's
nice.
that's a great rule. I mean, the thing was huge. I mean, I feel like it's like 15 or 20 feet wide. It looked pretty big. How big is it?
Yeah, I think it's about 22 feet wide, and then it's got a little niche on the side. But it's nice just to serve the people. I painted it too, so it's a little more updated now. I gotta find something to put on the front of it.
All right. Well, you know, all 4 years at Augie, I mean, we were never always indoors as well. So, backyards are where it happens. So that's pretty cool. It'll be a nice little focal point.
Yeah, not
Um,
much has changed.
um, I was also saying like, there was, as I was just kind of, I like to go through like social media and kind of, look at, what folks post and just learn a little bit more about folks as we kind of go into these. But, I see a lot of, pictures with your family and tell me just a little bit about, your family. I saw like, you and your mom were at, was it Tycoga, winery, enjoying some white wine there. Tell me just a little bit about like your relationship with your family.
Oh yeah, I got two older sisters, and obviously just both my parents. But I feel like we're really close. Both my sisters moved out. One, my oldest sister Hannah, she had a kid recently on my birthday, so that was kind of
All right.
nice. But his name's Jet. He's probably, I want to say, 6 months or so old by now. But he's the cutest thing. He doesn't cry at all. He's the sweetest baby. But I feel like we're all really close with each other. We text frequently, update each other on what we're doing and stuff. And a lot of my family comes up to tailgate for home games, so we stay pretty close.
Nah, I like it. And I mean, that's the thing I think is so cool, man. And I talk about this to, folks outside the Augie community a lot, but just around how tight knit the Viking, parents and family and friends and that community is. And, the tailgate scene is a ton of fun, but just all the interaction and just the bond, like it extends, not just from the players, that bond and friendship extends all the way out to everyone, that kind of visits campus, whether you're, family or friends. So it's just such a cool experience. Um, well, hey man, lastly, well, and we'll kind of end with this. I'll give you the floor here. Anyone in particular you'd like to thank, family, friends, coaches, shout outs, however you'd like to wrap this up, man. Floor is all yours.
No, I just would like to thank you for the opportunity to come on, talk a little bit about me, about the game, about Augie. But that's pretty much it. I really thank you.
Absolutely. Well, enjoy your weekend off. We got Wheaton here at home. I'm actually going to enjoy my weekend down in Savannah, Georgia, with two of my best friends. So we kind of had it centered around Augie's bye week, realistically. So
Awesome.
uh, um, so that'll be fun. A little quick guys trip to celebrate our birthdays actually, so that'll be a ton of fun. But then, man, we
Well,
have
happy
we have
birthday, man.
yeah, appreciate it, absolutely. Yeah, 43. It, I keep getting stuff from Augie that it's my 20th reunion this year, and I don't want to sign up for anything because I don't want to. Hey, I'm going to be busy with the game and tailgating and all that
Yeah.
stuff before and afterwards. But and as busy as it is, was thankful for the pass because that's going to be huge that day. But yeah, I also just don't want to acknowledge that it's been 20 years. So again, just makes me feel old. So well, hey
No, I
Nick,
get
well
it.
thanks again, man.
That's not too old.
No, no. But no, I do appreciate it, man. It was good to connect with you. Glad to see things are going well. Glad to see the Vikings have started off really well. Got a win right out of the gate, and we have big test number one here with Wheaton. So have a
Oh
good
yeah.
night.
Yeah, you too. Have a good night.
If you like today's episode, make sure to just subscribe to the Viking Press Pass. 4 letters, 1 year, 4 letters, 1 month. Yay!